The history and development of Islamic legal maxim.
In the history of Islamic thought, the development of Islamic maxim comprised one of the greatest intellectual contributes. This is the general formula of Islamic law, the most comprehensive legal axiom that carried by a jurist for a long time based on evidence extracted from Sharia texts. Qawaid Fiqhiyyah is a general rule of fiqh which can be applied in many cases under general rule. The maxim of this law play an important role in the formulation of Islamic law, as it can be used as a principle to conclude many cases under fiqh. Legal maxim are exist between various schools and the differences between the mujtahid. The Qawaid Fiqhiyyah are also closely related and provide a perspective view of the Sharia objective, and sometimes they are included in the maqasid.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Ekana Aziza Metamatano, and I'm going to explain the part 4 issue on the history and development of Islamic legal maxim. The first identification of the issue is the difference of fiqh and fiqh method consequences. Two differences was identified. First, the special rule adheres to only one specific school, and the second one, the difference of view in the same rule. In prohibiting an action, God uses a variety of style, language, as if in general, the scholar believe that the principle of the number of principles is only 5, while Hanafiya scholars have a different view. They argues that the principle consists of 6 rules, namely the 5 general rule. While for difference of view in the same rule, it is undeniable that the principles of fiqh are the result of ulama ijtihad. Therefore, there can be differences in understanding of the rules. This includes the agreed upon rules of validity. The next identified issue is the legal maxim of Islamic law, excluding 5 leading legal maxims and their applications in Islamic finance. According to some scholars, almost all the subjects of fiqh are covered under these maxims. There are 5 maxims in this category. The jurists agree that all the remaining maxims are a proposition that follows from one that already proved, or a commentary of this representative 5 primary maxims, and cover various issues of fiqh, although some scholars will argue that all the subjects of fiqh are covered under these main maxims. The 5 maxims are summarized and including al-umur bimaqasidiha, which is matters are determined according to intentions. The second one is al-mashaqqah tajlib al-taysir, which is mean hardship begets facility. Next, al-darul yuzal, which is harm must be eliminated. The next one is al-yakin la yazul bi al-shak, which is mean certainty is not overruled by doubt. And the last one is al-aqdah muhakkamah, which means custom is a basis for judgment. The second point for this identified issue is the types of legal maxims that cover a substantial amount of fiqh subjects. However, the coverage is lesser compared to the above category. This type is either the extended maxim from the major leading maxims or maxims that are not related to the 5 major maxims. For example, for extended maxim from the major leading maxims, the maxim that says al-darurah tubih al-mahzurah, which means necessity renders prohibited things permissible, is derived from the major maxim mentioned above, which says al-mashaqqah tajlib al-taysir, which is hardships begets facility. While another maxim from this category is al-ijtihad, la yunkad bil al-ijtihad, which means ijtihad is not reversed by its equivalent, such that if a later jurist provides a different judgment on the same matter, then an earlier ruling is not invalidated because of it.
Okay, so for today, I would like to talk about identification of the issue. So for the issue that have been found in the article review in Islamic law, a history of legal maxim, interpretation, and Islamic criminal law. So for the first issue, which is in Islamic law, what is in Islam? For technical term used in Islamic legal called shubhah, literally apparent and contested semblance. This focus on in the administration of criminal law yield important insight into how Muslim jurists view the nature and objective of penal law and how political force might manipulate criminal law. Different formulations were used to denote the legal meaning and function of DOP, which was formulated as an instruction for judge to avoid punishment in the case of DOP called idra al-hudud bil shubahah. Second, DOP in Islamic law focusing largely on Hanafi, Maliki, and Shafi'i source. These 3 schools incorporate DOP in the formulation of their criminal law jurisprudence, reveal a great deal about their distinctive legal approach and methodologies. For example, the early Hanafi treatment of DOP tend to focus on contextual interpretation as well as on the impact of DOP and contractual obligation. Most importantly, this early deliberation point to the fluidity of the concept of the DOP, which was addressed on a case-by-case basis before it crystallized in the form of legal maxim at a later and more developed stage of the legal tradition. Lastly, most jurists accept 2 main types of DOP, legal DOP or mistake of law or shubha al-mahal, and factual DOP or mistake of fact or shubha al-fil. That's all from me. Thank you.
And I will explain about the analysis of the issue from different perspectives. So there are two issues highlighted in the article: konsekuensi perbezaan fikih terhadap kaedah fiqh. This article is from Indonesia, and so for the first one is the special rules adheres to only 5 specific schools. So if we understand about the Islamic and code of conduct is something that has changed throughout Islamic history. So there are 4 scholars, which is Imam Abu Hanifah, Imam Malik, Imam Hanbal, and Imam Shafi'i, are important individuals who carry out this set responsibility in ensuring that future generations remain true to the Islamic teaching. So the method and process of understanding text by different scholars comes from the understanding of translating implied meaning in different Arabic language. So for example, Malikiyah scholars, they argue that there is no qunut except in subuh prayer only. So there is no qunut in the prayer of Iftir and other prayers. For Shafi'iyah, they argue that there is no qunut in the 5 hours except in subuh prayer only. So the article also said that different understanding in translating the Arabic from Nas in the Quran and the Hadith is the factor. So however, the rules made based on the Islamic jurisprudence, only 5 maxims were chosen because of the similarities. For the second issue is about the difference of view in the same rule. This issue is also related to scholars' understanding in the context of text comprehension in Arabic language. So for the second article, the issue, almost all the subject of fiqh are covered under these 5 maxims. Study conduct by Dr. Hafiz Abdul Ghani about the historical of legal maxims of Islamic law explained that maxims carry a different nature and it is not applicable in all cases, but it is applicable in most cases. So for the last issue is about the legal maxims that cover a substantial amount of fiqh subject. As we understand, that the principle of fiqh can be applied in various branches of fiqh that come under the common rulings, and also the wisdom of Islamic scholar is resolving the issues of fiqh. So for conclusions, for my part, I can conclude that both mujtahid and ordinary jurists can make use of them because they are comprehensive guidelines which are direct applicable to particular cases to reveal the Sharia rulings.
Okay, there are many opinion of fiqh and Sharia scholar difference on the hadith of Islamic law in the solve the issue. Okay, for the issue and legal cases will be solved without the debate. Let's move on in this case. On the article we are review, the scholar Ibn Umayyin said that about sale not war is not with you. The Ibn Qayyim said that clarified that the subject matter of the sale in concerns with the sale of a specific object and not the sale by description of goods that are already available in the market. Besides that, it is understood that a contract must be specific with the quality and the nature of the merchandise on sale, following which the contract will be treated as void. Okay. However, there are certain commodity whose quality cannot be guaranteed, and then without the likelihood of damaging then. Okay, for the example, we can see that pomegranate cannot usually be sold without skin. Okay, removal the skin would be damaging exposure. Okay, it is in such case that the rule of pre-sleeve defining the content of the merchandise will be related.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will explain about another solution, which is another solution in different cases. Okay, first we will look at a century after the demise of the Prophet. There had been a vacuum in the field of Islamic law because of deeds of his company. Second, toward the end of the first century of Islam, Imam Abu Hanifah in Kufa and Imam Malik in Medina founded religious legal thought, named after them as the Hanafi and Maliki schools. Third, in the following century, the two other great schools were founded: the Shafi'i school of Imam al-Shafi'i in Egypt and the Hanbali schools of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal in Baghdad. Okay, for the difference between dogmatics and the interpretations of Quran's regulations, for example, the practical role in the life of the individual. Each Muslim belongs to one or another school of thought and addressed to the regulations. Among the above mentioned for 4 main schools of Islamic jurisprudence, the Hanafi are considered the most liberal, although from a financial perspective. Why? Hanbali are generally considered as the most conservative. Maliki are generally moderately liberal, and Shafi'i are generally considered relatively conservative. Through in financial, they can be rather liberal. Last but not least, Hanafi and Shafi'i do not allow the sale of usufruct of an asset. Why? Hanbali and Maliki, which consider usufruct as a property, allowed to selling it. Shafi'i allowed debt resale, which is not allowed by Hanafi and Hanbali, and only under strict condition is it allowed by the Maliki schools.
In conclusion, we have been discussed about Qawaid Fiqhiyyah or legal maxims of Islamic law. There are 5 leading of maxims, and others legal maxims have been discussed. Many cases can be referred to this maxim for solution, and for instance, they can determine the validity of certain deeds. All the legal maxims have been a great sources of the basis for the Islamic rulings, not just in the law of ibadah and family law, but it also can apply in rule of finance. Islamic jurists have surely contributed and continue to provide an important role, given their considerable knowledge of fiqh and competency in driving rulings that involve these important legal maxims after the primary sources, Al-Quran and As-Sunnah. Once again, my name is Nur Nabila binti Zulkifli. That's all from us. Thank you.